Hey guys, see the Summit here with the Honda Ruckus again. I've been putting a lot of thought into kind of where I was going to go with this build series, because I'm actually probably not going to start modding it until about springtime. That was kind of what I agreed to with the wifey, was that I would keep it stock and just save money up for a while before I jumped into it. So I was kind of thinking, well, how am I going to put out content? What am I going to do? And then I remembered my oil change video where I said there's not really a whole lot for the beginner Honda Ruckus owner. Everything's so based towards modding it. Engine swapping, exhaust, tuning it, that sort of thing. But I think what a lot of people don't realize is there are people out there who will buy this just to commute on, or even if they are buying it for fun, they're still going to keep it stock and ride it as Honda made it from the factory. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put forth a series of videos based towards either someone who's looking to buy or has just bought a Honda Ruckus. I think that'll be great information, and I want to start that one today, and I'm going to do a bike check. So when I first introduced this, I called it a bike check. It really wasn't. It was more just showing the bike and saying what it was, but I didn't really go into detail on it. So my situation with the bike actually was kind of what made me want to do this. I knew I wanted a Honda Ruckus. I had seen them before. I never rode them, but I had been around them. And I knew I wanted one, and I went to the dealership, and they didn't have one. I had to order it in, and in order to order it in, I basically had to go through and sign on the dotted line and buy it. So for me, knowing I wanted one, that really wasn't that big of a deal. But if I was just looking to get it to commute on and I didn't necessarily know if that's what I wanted, I probably would have never got it. So I wanted to make a video just going from the front of the bike to the back of the bike and kind of just going over every part and getting people familiar with it. So that way, if they're in that same situation, they can kind of make a more educated decision and don't just count it off because of it possibly not being in stock or them feeling like they don't know enough about it. So I'm going to start at the front of the bike, work to the back, and we're going to go through each part. If I leave out a part or you feel like I don't go into enough information, please let me know, and I will try and go over it in the comment section and get you the information that you need. Alright guys, so I'm just going to start up here and work my way back. So starting with the wheel, it's a 10-inch steel wheel. It's got drum brakes front and rear, and then it's equipped with Kenda 120 by 90 tires. They look a little aggressive, and they're actually really good for like potholed city streets or some light gravel or like a bumpy road, but they're most definitely not dual sport tires. So dual sport tires are a lot softer compound. These are most definitely a hard street tire. Just wanted to put that out there because I've seen some people kind of talk about the Ruckus's off-roading ability, and it's definitely not designed for that. So moving on, you get a pretty nice front fender. I actually really like it. I've thought about removing it, but I think I'm going to keep it. I think it's a nice styling feature, and I was riding it in the rain one day, and it actually kept me fairly dry. So moving on from that, you got the signature kind of Honda Ruckus front end. That's like a big styling point for it. I'll actually turn it on here in a second and kind of go through everything and show everything. But just going over what each thing is, you have your two lights. You got a low beam and a high beam on those. And then right in the middle of those is your horn and then your turn signals. So where the turn signals are, there's actually supposed to be a reflector, and then your turn signals go up here. I did a video on how to relocate those. It's a free mod. You just need some basic hand tools. If that's something you're interested in doing, I have a video of it on my YouTube channel, so you can check it out there. And then you also have this front rack. I know some people will put like a water bottle on there, or people that take them on longer trips because they don't have a gas gauge. I'll get to that in a second. will actually put like a bottle of fuel on there just to get a little bit extra fuel if you're in between gas stations. I don't really use it for anything, at least not yet. I haven't really found a purpose for it. When I get to modding it, I'm probably actually going to remove this whole front assembly and go with like more of a light bar. But I'm actually going to get ready and go through what the front of the bike looks like when you turn it on and go through each thing. All right, so you actually have to have the bike on to turn on the high beams or the headlights in general. So I'm going to click that on real quick. So that's the low beams, high beams. You don't have to have the bike on to go through like the turn signals and the horn. So right turn signal, left turn signal, and then horn. So the horn's actually pretty loud on this bike. I was actually really impressed. A lot of that's because it's obviously located right at the front of the bike, kind of out in the open. But you know, this is a really small bike, and if you're in traffic, it's easy to get missed. So I was kind of happy that it was pretty loud. Moving more into the cockpit of the bike, you have obviously your two mirrors, and then your right side controls. You have throttle, front brake, kill switch. So up would be off, down would be on, and then your start button. So to start this bike, you have your ignition, key needs to be turned to on, kill switch needs to be down. You need to hold in a brake and then hit start. And then to kill it, you can either turn the key off or hit the kill switch. So going towards the ignition, it's got 3 positions: on, an accessory where it would turn like your fuel pump on, off, and then it actually has a wheel lock. So you can turn your wheel to the left, push this in and turn it past off, and it'll lock your wheels for you. So that's like an anti-theft measure. It's nice if you're like in an urban environment. Going more into the middle of the handlebars, you don't have a RPM gauge or a gas gauge. You have a speedometer and odometer, that's it. You also have a turn signal indicator. It won't tell you which one's blinking, but this doesn't have a self-canceling feature, which means you have to cancel it yourself. And then you have a high beam indicator, which will glow blue. And then you have a gas gauge, which glows, or I'm sorry, a gas light, which glows yellow or amber. So like I said, there is no gas gauge. This has a 1.2 gallon tank, and it gets roughly 100 to 115, 120, and that'll come on usually when you have about 20 miles to E. Left side feature, you have right turn signal, left turn signal, horn, and then low beam would be down and high beam would be up. And then you also have a rear brake with a parking brake or emergency brake. So this has a little groove on it. And then this lever comes down and locks into that and prevents your rear wheel from being able to spin. Moving down into kind of like your foot area, you have a nice wide foot area. There's plenty of room to kind of get a good position on where you want to be. I like to rest my feet actually up in here. That's just what's comfortable for me. But you know, whatever works for you, do that. You also have your gas tank, which would be what's right under you, and your gas fill here. So you lift up this, and then you have this cap that also locks. So that's pretty nice. Honda put like a lot of locking features on this bike. It helps you kind of have peace of mind if you live in maybe a more populated area. Like I said, it's 1.2 gallons. You'll get about 100 miles roughly to a tank. My low fuel usually comes on after about 90 miles from fill up, excuse me. And then you have a storage area under your seat. They actually make a bag that goes in there. It's about $50 on Amazon. And then it also lifts up on the left side and allows access to it from up above as well. And then under here, there is a little like glove box compartment. You can put like an insurance card or registration or the owner's manual in there. And then you also get a nice helmet lock. So you can run the D-ring of your helmet through here and lock that. I personally don't use that. I take my helmet with me. But if you wanted to, you have that as an option. So it also has a emergency Kickstarter on it. That'd be like if you left your battery switch on and you came out from work and your battery was dead. Starting it with this is the same way. You have to have your kill switch on and you have to hold in the brake, but instead of pressing on like the ignition switch, you're just gonna kick this down and that's gonna turn your CVT transmission and should start your engine. You also have a center kickstand. A lot of dirt bikes and even some scooters and all motorcycles that I know of have a side kickstand. So this one has a center kickstand. It makes it a lot more stable. It lifts the whole back wheel up, and I mean, you can shake this thing all day long and it's not going to go anywhere. So moving more into the back of the bike, you have another really nice rear fender here. It helps keep you dry and keeps dirt off of you. Then you have the same size tire on the back as what you do on the front, and it's drum brake, like I said, as well on the back. And then you have your tail light assembly on the very back of it. You have running light and braking light, as well as your left and right turn signal. And then this is your license plate bracket with a little reflector. In the state I'm in, I'm not required to run a license plate. I don't even know how I would go about getting one, which is really weird because I'm actually like in a tri-state area and I've thought about taking it on trips. But anyways, moving on from that, yeah, that's where your license plate would go. All right, final thing, which is probably gonna be, in my opinion as a mechanic, is the most important thing. Some people might not care, but that is the engine. So it is a 49cc GIT motor. It is liquid cooled and it is carbureted and it's a single cylinder. Yeah, guys, I mean, I think that's pretty much it. I'm gonna do a 5 things I love about the bike and things I wish I'd known about the bike before I got it. But so far I'm loving it. I hope this video helps you guys out. Stay tuned, subscribe, hit that like button. There's definitely gonna be more videos dropping in the future. And then if you're a first-time buyer and I'm not covering something that you want to know, just drop it in the comments below, and I'll either A, give you the answer, or if it's a good enough topic, I'll try and make a video on it. So yeah, I hope you guys have a good day. I hope you like the video, and I'll see you in the next one.